warm welcome to our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. I'm Amarachi Ubani here. The stories making our headlines this half hour. Russia launches its biggest wave of attacks yet on Ukraine. Palestinians flee Gaza district as Israel begins a planned ground offensive. Plus 750 years of the city of Amsterdam. How about a boat race to celebrate? We're learning from Ukrainian officials at least 574 drones and 40 missiles have been launched on several parts of the country, the heaviest recorded in weeks. They come in the same week U.S. President Donald Trump met with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders and a follow-up to his meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin last Friday. At least one person was killed in a drone and missile strike on the western city of Lviv, while 18 others were reportedly wounded in an attack on the southwestern Transcarpathia region. The Ukrainian Air Force says many of the attacks came from western Russia as well as from the Black Sea, while one missile came from Russian-occupied Crimea. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he's willing to meet with the Russian president in neutral Europe, indicating Switzerland and Austria, but that he's not against Istanbul either. Following talks with the two leaders on Friday and on Monday, the U.S. president had initially suggested trilateral talks involving him, Putin and Zelensky, but has since suggested he might not take part. German prosecutors, say a Ukrainian man identified as Serhiy K. was probably the brain behind the explosion of the Nord Stream gas pipeline under the Baltic Sea, months after the start of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Serhiy was arrested in the province of Rimini and was part of a group that planted the explosives under the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines from Russia to Germany. The blasts severed a key source of natural gas for Europe when leaders were facing an energy crisis triggered by Russia's war. The Ukrainian, who was detained by Italy's Carabinieri military police, stationed in the northern coastal resort of Misano Adriatico, is suspected of being one of the masterminds of the operation. Prosecutors say he was part of a team that had chartered a yacht and sailed from the German port of Rostock to an area of the Baltic near the Danish island of Bornholm. Now, Palestinians are reportedly fleeing parts of the Gaza enclave after the Israeli military began the first stages of a planned ground offensive. Israel's troops have established a foothold on the outskirts of the city, which is home to more than 1 million Palestinians, just days after intense bombing and artillery fire. It's prompted UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to renew calls for an immediate ceasefire to avoid a death and destruction an assault would inevitably cause. Israel wants to signal it is pressing on with its plan to capture all of Gaza City, despite international criticism. Hundreds of Palestinians in the Zaytun and Sabra neighborhoods of Gaza City have left towards the northwestern part of Gaza. We'll bring up the pictures pretty soon. This happening today. Earlier in Tel Aviv, protesters demonstrating against Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the GHF. Apparently, the GHF officials were lodged in one of the hotels in the area that they were protesting. They want them to defy the so-called order to stop enough aid entering into Gaza. It's a process to draw attention to the hunger in the city.
We're demonstrating against Gaza Humanitarian Fund, GHF, and its other companies that are here as well in this hotel, SRS, UG Solutions. It's an invention of Israel with some help from the US in order to stop the legitimate aid that's been coming through into Gaza for many, many years. They built these 4 militarized spots, which are extremely dangerous to all people involved. People have to walk 4 miles to go there. They have no idea if they'll make it or not, because they have to, when the time is right, they are allowed to run and grab the food like animals, right? Every day this has been happening. Of course, they did some days when it was clean suddenly, when only women were there and everything was organized. But most of the days for almost 3 months now have been insane. There are many documentations of this, of how people are running and being shot at. It's insanity. This is not how humanitarian aid works. GHF knows it, Israel knows it, and it continues to support this monstrosity. It must stop now.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says the country is introducing incentives for electric vehicles, battery production, and green hydrogen, while also investing in health, manufacturing, digital infrastructure, and skills development. He added that the African Continental Free Trade Area remains central to the country's economic vision. He was speaking at the second plenary session on the economy at the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development Summit in Yokohama, Japan.
South Africa seeks to deepen inter-Africa trade while becoming a continental industrial platform from which Japanese and other global firms can expand and export into our continent. We're actively working with the AFCFTA Secretariat to finalize value chain protocols in automotive, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, and textiles. We support rules of origin harmonization to encourage manufacturing in Africa and the upgrading of border infrastructure to enable faster movement of goods. Recent tariff actions by the United States on African goods have highlighted the need to diversify our export markets. South Africa is a leading exporter of agricultural produce and high-quality industrial products such as automotive vehicles, as well as components. We call on Japanese counterpart companies to support tariff cooperation to ease market access for African goods. We seek partnership in infrastructure, in energy, in digital development through blended finance. We also seek partnerships in financing skills development, youth innovation, and small business scaling. Africa is not seeking aid, it is seeking partners, and that is why we are here.
President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. In the meantime, the Kenyan President William Ruto lauded the trade and investment partnership between Kenya and Japan. He emphasized this during his keynote address at the conference in Yokohama. According to President Ruto, Japan has provided Kenya with more than $5 billion in development aid, helping enhance the country's transport infrastructure, energy systems, and agricultural productivity. He also highlighted Tokyo as Kenya's third largest source of foreign direct investment.
There are 120 Japanese investors operating in Kenya across diverse sectors, from manufacturing and infrastructure to renewable energy and various technologies. They are part of a growing network of businesses that see Kenya as a gateway to African market and a trusted partner in investment and growth. Our trade ties are equally strong. Bilateral trade reached $900 million in 2024, an increase of 33% from the previous year. Japan remains Kenya's leading source of motor vehicles, while our exports ranging from titanium and copper to tea and flowers demonstrate the wide opportunities available in our markets. Over the past 50 years, Japan has extended more than $5 billion in development assistance, advancing Kenya's transport, energy, agriculture, and health systems. We aim to achieve up to 10% annual economic growth by 2030, and increase job creation by 1.2 million jobs every year. Our 5 priority sectors, agriculture, health, digital economy, manufacturing, and climate action, are well aligned with Japan's own development priorities. We are expanding fiber optic infrastructure across Kenya to provide more young people with digital skills and to provide opportunities for them to be able to be connected into the digital job infrastructure that is available not just in Japan, but globally.
Kenyan President William Ruto. In 2023, Human Rights Watch reported that pesticides banned in the European Union due to health and environmental risks continue to be sold abroad by European and international companies. Despite the domestic bans, hazardous chemicals like ethoprophos and chlorothalonil are still exported to countries in the global south where pesticide regulations are weaker.
In Kenya, beekeepers are raising the alarm over cheap, toxic pesticides banned in the EU, but still entering their markets, causing serious threats to their livelihoods and to the environment.
Our surrounding farmers are using herbicides and pesticides which make the production of honey to be low. So out of one box, we buy at 5,000. 5,000 times 24 is a lot of money. And what we have got today is only 2 liters, 2 kgs. They have killed most of our colony. Out of 24, we got only 1 beehive which was colonized. So it's very loss. It's a very loss to our production and our project.
Local beekeepers are suffering major losses, with incomes drying up alongside dying hives.
Because we are surrounded with farms, sugarcane farms, some kind of crop farms, the moment the spraying is done using the pesticides, and when our bees come now to go and collect, the nectar from these flowers, they die. It is really hurting to us, the farmers, after making a huge investment like this, spending money with a lot of expectations. Then we end up, because some pesticides being added onto our soils, destroying the bees and everything, it makes us to feel so painful. We go at a loss, and we just hate everything.
Back in 2020, the European Commission pledged to stop the production of banned chemicals for export. However, to date, no binding measures have been enforced, while some countries, including France, Belgium and Germany, have moved ahead with national bans on such exports.
The pesticides which have been listed as hazardous or dangerous to the environment by our friends from the European countries, we would kindly relook into these, because these are the pesticides which are being sold at a very cheap price in the Kenyan market. So farmers are really craving for them, they are using them, they are affecting the life cycle of the bees, production is really going down. And if care is not taken, you would understand that humanity's survival depends entirely on bees' existence. So in case the bees are out of space, that means our existence is also at stake.
The Kenyan government says it is taking steps to regulate pesticide sales within the country. The Route to Food Initiative says 76% of pesticides sold in the country are categorized as highly hazardous pesticides, with 44% of them banned in Europe. In recent weeks, over 70 pesticides have been withdrawn from use, over 200 restricted, and over 150 set for review.
Welcome back. Here in Nigeria, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has announced the sudden demise of the Consul General of Nigeria in Buea. The Republic of Cameroon, Ambassador Taofiq Koka, who unfortunately passed after a brief illness over the weekend. According to the ministry, Ambassador Koka was a hard-working and dedicated career diplomat who served Nigeria with distinction, commitment, and professionalism in different capacities. Until his timely death, his demise is considered a great loss to the diplomatic community and the nation at large. Prior to his appointment and assumption of duty as Consul General in Buea, he served Nigeria meritoriously in the missions in Conakry, Guinea, and Shanghai, China. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs extends its heartfelt condolences to his immediate family, colleagues, and friends at this time and pray for the peaceful repose of his soul. And in more cheery news, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has commended 18-year-old Abiola Abidoye for achieving a remarkable academic milestone by securing the highest level law grade in the entire United Kingdom. NIDCOM boss Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa, in a statement, described Abidoye's academic excellence as a source of immense pride to Nigeria and the diaspora, urging young Nigerians to draw inspiration from his dedication and passion for learning. She added that his remarkable success reinforces the positive image of Nigeria abroad and reflects NIDCOM's mission to celebrate such global achievements, urging other young talented Nigerians to emulate Abidoye's record-breaking performance, hence enhancing Nigeria's image abroad as educationally advanced country. U.S. celebrity judge and social media star Frank Caprio has died. He was aged 88. Now, for over 40 years, Caprio famously used compassion and humor to make judgments that took into consideration the personal circumstances of the people in the dock. Videos of Judge Caprio presiding over cases on his hit TV show called In Providence have had billions of views on social media, earning him the title the nicest judge in the world. His death followed a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. It was announced on his official Instagram account, where he was remembered for his warmth and unwavering belief in the goodness of people. Locals in Budapest flocked to catch a glimpse of the dazzling fireworks and drone display on Wednesday as Hungary marked its founding anniversary by commemorating St. Stephen's Day. Eager spectators gathered on Gillett Hill, gazing skywards as vibrant flares and radiant colors lit up the sky. Just as smoke began to clear, a mesmerizing drone show brought the evening to a spectacular close. The show, Europe's largest combined fireworks and drone display, featured around 45,000 pyrotechnic effects and approximately 1,300 drones. This year, an estimated 700,000 spectators were expected to gather along the 5,000-kilometer stretch of the Danube River. On August 20, Hungarians honored the country's first king, Stephen I, who founded the Hungarian state over 1,000 years ago and declared it a Catholic nation. The day is marked with festive events and traditional ceremonies across the country. Meanwhile, the city of Amsterdam is 750 years this year, but authorities have decided the occasion must be marked all year long. On Wednesday, however, this was what marked the celebrations. Hundreds of boats filling the city's waterways for the Sail 2025 parade in celebration of the city's 75th anniversary. The quinquennial events returned for the first time in a decade after the previous edition was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A diverse for ships, historic vessels, and recreational boats sailed towards the harbour behind Amsterdam's central station, where thousands of excited spectators captured the stunning sail-in parade. Departing from IJmuiden on the North Sea coast, up to 800 vessels are expected to dock at the harbour throughout the event, where various festivities will be held. Reports indicate that the total number of boats participating in Sail 2025 could reach up to 10,000, including vessels from multiple countries. But the real date for the celebration of Amsterdam is October 27th this year.
like decorating the way and.
That'll be all on the world today. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi. Bye.